Well, I can think of this property itself. It was owned by John Lister and his wife, and they had 2 daughters, and my parents bought it off of them. And they had a dairy farm, partly down in the meadows, but they had the barn up here and stuff, and they provided milk and things for the hotel, the old hotel in Hotel Bay. And I think my father, he moved to Detroit when he was 4. And his father was killed in an accident at work. He was a pattern maker. And my grandmother was left, so she came to Vancouver because her sister had immigrated here and some other friends. They came from a small island in Scotland called North Uist, and a very rural area. And then my father was raised in Kitsilano, where he sailed and went to school. And he was an only child. He had lots of cousins, but I know that he had a lot of children because he was an only child and he wanted a family. And I think that's partly me staying here. I never had any children of my own, but I always had children, so I didn't really need more than, I was surrounded by children, and not everybody has to have them. So I think the children are important, and I've just got a new great niece, number 10, so 2 nephews, 2 great nephews, and 8 great nieces. So that's just, it feels very good. I think part of my family was celebrating life and celebrating having children. And my father was my parents both were really good people. Like, we grew up here, and I mean, we were not rich, but because my father worked regularly and he went to work, and we always had probably more than a lot of the people here. And I remember at Christmas time, like in the back pantry, there'd be all these turkeys and things, and then they'd be gone Christmas morning. And then it wasn't until I was older that I realized what was happening. And I remember a few times women showing up at my house, and my mother bringing them in, and they stayed with us for a while because they were in some kind of abusive relationship, and my parents took them in. And I had a cousin that lived with us the first year we were here. She was 18 and from Ontario, and she was pregnant. And she came out to Vancouver to give up her baby, and she kept her. And she lived with my parents for a year. And then my aunt, my mom's half-sister, came out with her husband from Ontario, and they took her back, and they raised her, all of them. She had more children. So I think it's just this wonderful thing about a child is a clean palate, and you want to nurture it, and give a child anything you can. So.